wasn't ready. Hey, we are Nurse Jar's third testing group of 2023, and we're going to tell you how our written and skills personal experience was. Did I say that wrong? How our personal experience. We are Nurse Jar's third testing group of 2023. Guys, you gotta. Hey, we are Nurse Jar's third testing group and of 2023.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Nurse Jar here. Welcome to my YouTube channel for nurse aid training students and candidates alike.
Hi. Hey, we are Nurse Jar's third testing group of 2023, and we're going to be telling you how the skills and written went with our personal experience.
The CNAplus.com helped a lot for the written test, kind of almost exactly the same questions. Our teacher did give us like a pamphlet of questions, and they were almost exact as well, but again, y'all won't have that, so CNA Plus.
There's a couple just like practice questions to get familiar with the formatting, because the formatting is a bit weird on the written exam. You have your questions, and then the next button is you kind of have to scroll down a bit, but there's like a good 5-minute grace period where you're just getting familiar with the formatting and understanding how it works, so then you can move on to the actual.
How it went was you kind of just get to the campus early. You wait for about like a couple minutes until the NA comes, and then we all get put into a room, and it's just like desk with the big dividers. So you guys are like sectioned off, and you can't look off each other's computers or anything. And then she gives you a speech about like copying and what it could do. Like, you're getting caught cheating.
As far as the questions, they were pretty, I say, simple sentence. They weren't like big scenario question based questions.
The setup of the test, it was on the computer. There was, like it showed you, there were 60 questions for ours. 50 questions were graded. You had to get a 70 on all 5 domains. You just really had to focus in for like 30 minutes, and then you were able to get it done. None of the questions were too long. Answer choices were not too difficult. Like it wasn't like any crazy answer choices, but there were obvious right answers and obvious wrong answers.
The written is about 60 questions. You get like actually an hour and 30, right?
That's 90 minutes.
Okay. Oh my god. Yeah, an hour and 30 if you want exact. They give you chances to bookmark your questions if you want to go back and like the ones you're unsure of. So I really bookmarked almost like 11 of mine just to like go back and check. That really helped.
For me, it was a lot of hands-on, and just like memorizing the steps is what helps me practicing in the classroom. And then for the written, you can't really guess the questions, but just like looking over your notes and looking over like the big points that you learned throughout the school year, and like looking on CNA Plus and just the packets that our teacher provided us also helped with the written.
And the CNA Plus helped a lot, and the packets that Ms. J provided us, but I won't have that, so CNA Plus.
The questions were really short. They weren't like too long or anything. It wasn't in detail. It just kind of gave you a short story of it and then asked you to answer the question.
Ways we studied for the written was we were provided with packets from like Quizlets and just kind of like some scenarios that Miss J had made up.
During the whole testing day, there's a lot of waiting. There's a lot of downtime. Like we said before, it was only 90 minutes of testing, and really only 20 minutes of that you use for your actual testing, and then the rest is just downtime. And it's really nerve-wracking, but just remember to take deep breaths and realize that it's something that you've been preparing for so long, so you got this eventually.
Yeah, and I was like the last one to finish. So once we got to the conference room, we waited about 40 minutes until the NAE came in and took into the first two. But during those 40 minutes, we like really got along. Well, we were just throwing things around, but yeah, like Jaden swung a bottle and hit Ansley's head. We kind of just, I would say, bring like a book or coloring paper because you can't be on your phone. Or just
Phones are off at all times.
yeah, and definitely bring a lunch, especially like she said. I brought some fruit. Um,
Yeah, I brought a yogurt, so that was good to eat after I finished my
no, you
lessons.
brought nuts.
Yeah, so the NAE came in, took 2 people, and the 4 would just sit there and had to wait. Each testing group of 2 took about an hour and 15 minutes. So as I said before, there was like downtime.
Just going through the cabinets and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Adley was a sweeper going through the cabinets. She got called a nosy Rosie.
I feel like it's really nerve wracking once like the first group goes in, like you start getting in your head and like, oh my god, like what am I gonna get? Like what's gonna happen? But I feel like once after the first people come in, I feel like it's kind of calming, so you can like know more information and like just hearing them talk will calm your mind.
So basically, what happened after we were sat in here for about 40 minutes, Nurse Holly came, or NA Holly came in, and she kind of just took Jaden and Savannah first. And then from there, we waited about an hour and 30 minutes or so.
Mhm.
And then they came back in and they told us who was going in next. But during that time, they were like, oh, we got, I don't know.
Yeah, so I had Tom for the left leg, so it was for the knee and the ankle. I got respirations and dressing. As far as when we get inside the room, there's only 3 of us. It's the candidate, the acting resident, and the NAE. It seems really intimidating because you have this big room filled with only 3 people, but she starts talking to you and then giving you instructions. And the NAE wore a mask to talk to the acting resident. So for us, whoever's name got called first, they were testing first. So she came in, I was the very first person to test, which I was like, oh great, not me. But then when we went in, I was nervous, and the RNAE, we got lucky with our RNAE, she was nice. So she explained to me the process to start on the actual test.
Me and Caroline were the first 2 testers. Again, some difficulty as we came in. The computer was not connected to Wi-Fi. But the test itself, we got another one of those cards. It looked almost exactly like the cards that we get in class. It just lists your 3 skills, and again, you have to do those in order. And literally, like, I didn't get prom, but she did. And we've been doing the shoulder exercises first. But we've been doing the one that you go, no, we've been going side to side first. And on her card, it was saying that like you had to do the up and down, like where your shoulder had to kind of and it tells you exactly the direction and like it tells you exactly what to do. But there shouldn't be any confusion on it. And if if you are confused, we were talking to her and she was super cool about answering any questions we had.
For the clinical portion, it's really nerve wracking, and there's not really much you can do to like calm it just by like pretending like you're just doing it in front of your classmates and your teacher. The proctor is usually helpful. Ours was super nice and helpful, so that helped calm me a little bit. And like the instructions are very clear. It's just like breathing and slowing down and not trying to rush and like get it done as soon as possible because you do have a good amount of time to complete your skills. So just slowing down and breathing and just really taking it one step at a time really helps me like calm down to make sure I like hit every check mark for that skill. So.
As far as when we get inside the room, there's only 3 of us. It's the candidate, the acting resident, and the NAE. It seems really intimidating because you have this big room filled with only 3 people, but she starts talking to you and then giving you instructions. And the NAE wore a mask to talk to the acting resident. So for us, whoever's name got called first, they were testing first. So she came in, I was the very first person to test, which I was like, oh great, not me. But then when we went in, I was nervous, but and the RNE, we got lucky with our RNE, she was nice. So she explained to me the process, the procedure, then took Jaden somewhere and
She explained to me as the acting resident like what I can't do, what I can do, or what I'm supposed to do. And if I do something that I can't do or I'm not authorized to do, it will fail Savannah,
yeah.
for example. So you have to be really paying attention to what you do, make sure you're not moving, and etc.
Basically just lay there or sit there as if you have not a thought in your mind and you only do what the candidate tells you to do.
You're almost falling asleep.
Oh yeah, I was laying on the bed and Jason was performing whatever skills he had and my eyes were closing. I was tired for some reason that day.
When we got taken in, me and Ansley were the last group to go. And she kind of just said, she told us like to take a deep breath, is what she told us. She said, this isn't your guys' classroom, like you guys should be comfortable because we're here on campus for testing on our own campus. And then Ansley was the first one to test. So she kind of just walked Ansley through everything that she gave us a tour first of our classroom and everything she had moved. Like it was just a couple stuff. And then she took Ansley, told her skills.
Well, they tell you the minutes first. They tell you how much time you have, and it's like depending how much time you have, you kind of get nervous because you don't know what like skills you're gonna have. And then afterwards, then she tells you the skills, and it kind of calms your mind and like realizing, oh, okay, I have this much time and these skills.
Yeah, so she takes you to a computer to make sure that you are in the prometric system and it's actually you. So you have to like click like I agree, basically like a signature. And then she tells you how many minutes, and then that's when she tells you your skills.
Your time does not define how hard your test is going to be. Like, for example, you can have someone that has these really long skills and have like 36 minutes. But you can have these people that have really quick and easy skills that have 40 minutes. So the time does not define how hard the test is.
Yeah.
Basically, I would just say once you get in the testing room, just take a deep breath because I mean that's just what you worked for. Like for instance, for how I studied, we kind of just did like a group study thing. It was me, Hadley, and Ansley. We like went. So it was like a couple times. It was like to my house, and we just practiced on each other. That's pretty much what we did. Or like in class time when we had free time, we would practice on each other too.
And you could run through the skills in your head and say, okay, I have it, and you're verbalizing everything, but you won't get the practice that you need until you're physically doing it. Because for Jaden, he had mock skills, and he would perform prom, and in his head, he's confident. He says, I know how to do prom, but then, I'm sorry, I don't mean to call you out, but then, but when he got to doing it, he failed the skill because he wasn't getting the full range of motion. So definitely practice hands-on for each skill.
And if you have a question, please ask it and don't stress yourself trying to cram last minute because that cramming just does not work.
Did you do that?
No, I didn't. You see?
I feel like in the test, she gives you a lot of time just to think and like go over everything. Like especially when she's talking to the acting resident, you have like at least like 10 minutes just to think in your head about your skills and what you're gonna do and like how to like just breathe and stuff like that.
And make sure you know how many supplies you need for each skill, because that you can gather your supplies and know your steps next. And when when the NAE is talking to the acting resident, that's when you have your skills card and you're looking at which skills you have, and in your head run through what materials you need. Really use the time because the NAE isn't rushing you. She's giving you this time to use the thing, so use it.
Yeah. There you go. I was just gonna back her up.
I can't stress enough, like, please check your supplies because I made the mistake of not checking it and that made me lose a lot of time.
When she means check your supplies, that means go to like wherever the supplies are.
Find all the supplies you need beforehand.
So this is the privacy blanket, that's the section for privacy blanket. Know that that's there and then know where the fitted sheets are.
Like for example, the NAE moves stuff around, so it may not be like the original positions that you know that they're in, or you know that they're going to be in. Like for example, I had occupied bed during my exam, and these sheets, the fitted sheets, the flat sheet, and the pillowcase were all in one pile, like all together in one section, and I got only the fitted sheet because I thought everything was in one pile. And so I realized that after I put it on, like, oh, I don't have my pillowcase or my other sheet, so I had to go back and get that. So make sure you get your supplies.
And going along with checking your supplies, it doesn't mean like don't gather your supplies because she can deem like she to tell you no, you can't do that. But definitely like go around and look and check. Just don't grab right away. But yeah, those were our personal experiences on the testing.
Skills and written.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I had to cut it short, guys, because
Turn it back. It just